Well, thanks for coming to this talk today from myself on communicating with your guardian spirit. My name is Steve Bellingham. I work for an organisation called Happy Science. So I guess before I talk about the method of communicating with the guardian spirit, which is today, I hope to be able to give you some methods or ways that you can use to communicate with your guardian spirit. But just before that, I'd like to explain where the information I've received that I'm going to pass on to you comes from. So as a starting point, the way I found Happy Science was through this book here called The Laws of the Sun, which was written by Master Yuho Okawa. He's from Japan. He's now published over 1,000 books. He's only 57 years old, and his method of writing books is actually through communication with the spirit world. A lot of his books he writes from his own subconscious, but he also writes many books where he will receive revelations from spirits in the other world. So in September last year, he wrote 20 books in 1 month. Okay, so it's impossible with your normal mind to be able to write 20 books in 1 month. So five a week. But if, for instance, you could connect with the spirit world, then the people in the spirit world who have got some intelligent thoughts that they want to share with the people in this world, if you could allow their thoughts to flow through you, I mean, there'd be a huge lineup of spirits in the other world waiting to send their thoughts through you so you could share them with the people in this world. So that is how he's able to write so many books, through doing the spiritual messages. But on the other hand, many of his other books also are written from his own consciousness, his own subconsciousness, writing from his own ideas about how he can attain happiness. So that's where the thoughts or the teachings that are going to be spoken about today about communicating with your guardian spirit come from. And I think anybody who can write so many books and receive so much inspiration from so many other spirits is in a position to be able to tell us about communicating with our guardian spirit. So, well, first of all, what is a guardian spirit? Master Okawa teaches us that each one of us, before we were born in this world, actually already existed as a soul or a spiritual being. So we are not just a body, we are also a spiritual being. And our essence, our true self, our soul, existed before we were in this world. So we existed in what we call the spirit world or the other world. And this spirit world or other world is a world of consciousness or a world of thought. And we were born from that world into this world with a purpose. You know, it doesn't happen for no reason. The reason we're born into this world is like a training ground for our soul. So if you think, I mean, many people I know might say, oh, you know, this is my last life because, you know, I never would want to come back here again. You know, this is it. This is my last life. It's not true, actually, because we never reach a point where we have reached a point where there's no further to progress, right? We are always on this eternal path of progress, and we can never reach a point where we've reached the dead end. You know, we're forever improving. There's endless opportunities forever to improve. So when we leave why do we leave the other world and come to this world is that living in the spirit world, okay, just imagine for a minute, okay, you're a spiritual being with eternal life. You'll never die. And you're living in the spirit world and you don't have any worries. You know, you've got no job, you don't have to worry about money, you don't have to worry about illness because you don't have a physical body. You don't have to worry about anything. And all day, every day, you can do whatever you like. You don't even have to sleep. So day is forever. You know, you don't have to sleep at night. We only sleep at night because our body gets tired. The body has to sleep. So you never have to sleep. You never have the aches and the pains. You don't have to worry about illness. You don't have to worry about money. And all day, every day, you can do whatever you want. Okay? That sounds wonderful. But when you live in eternity, it's not just 100 years or 1,000 years or 10,000 years. Eternity's 100,000 years, 1,000,000 years, 10 million years, 100 million years. It's forever. And the soul, if it stays in the heavenly world forever, it starts to get bored. There's no challenges anymore. I can do whatever I want all day, every day. We also start to forget about appreciating all the good points about the soul, right? One of the things about the soul is eternal life. Well, you only can appreciate eternal life if you know what eternal life is. And you can only know what eternal life is if you can understand what the idea of death is. Right? How can you say, oh, I'm so happy to be alive, I'm so happy I never die, unless you actually know what it means to die? So when we're born into this world, we forget about all this truth about being a spiritual being, and we take on this body and it becomes real, and this is us, and we don't want to die, and oh, I love life, and life's great, oh yes, I want to live. So it helps us to really appreciate how wonderful it is to have eternal life, because once we return to the other world, we go, oh man, I'm still alive. I thought I was going to die, but I didn't die. I'm still alive. Oh, I'm so happy that I'm alive. So all these things that actually we would start to take for granted if we lived in the spiritual world forever, we can really appreciate and have gratitude for. Now, gratitude is one of the key ways of happiness. When you have gratitude in your heart, you're in a place of happiness. If you think about that, that's true. Anytime you are feeling grateful, you are happy, right? If you're grateful to someone for doing something, or if you're grateful for your partner, or you're grateful for your boss, or you're grateful for something happening, or grateful for the sunshine, in your place of gratitude, you are in a state of happiness. So through being able to appreciate things, we can feel grateful, and through gratitude we feel happiness. Okay, so this is just laid down the foundation of why we come to this earth. You know, we live in the spirit world. That's our true home. And the spirit world itself is not just one place where we all end up, right? Where everybody is all together. Master Okawa teaches that the spirit world is actually made of, it's a very structured world, and it's a multi-dimensional world, so that basically like attracts like wavelengths attract. So whatever your state of mind is, you will be with people of a similar state of mind in the other world. So what Master Okawa teaches a lot and very clearly in this book called The Nine Dimensions is actually about the structure of the spirit world, and how the spirit world has got what we call stages of love or stages of enlightenment. And the world beyond this world, the world we live in here, is a three-dimensional world, right? Everything has physicality, it has height, width and depth, and everything is three-dimensional. Beyond this third dimension is the fourth dimension, which is the beginning of the spirit world. And in the fourth dimension, the new element that's added is time. Okay, so in this world it's height, width, depth. In the fourth dimensions it's height, width, depth and time. So in this world we can only all be here right now if we're in the same time, in the same place. Okay, so if you come here tomorrow, my day off tomorrow, so I'll be at home, so we won't be together, right? So it's only because we've all chosen to be here in the same place at the same time. Master Okawa said in the spirit world it takes a little bit of adjusting once we get back there, but it's different. Things that were actually existed in the past can seem to exist in the same place at the same time, even though they existed in the past. And he gives an example of a building. There can be an old building that was built in this world, and then it was torn down, and a new building was built in its place. But seen in the spirit world, it can appear like both of these structures are existing at the same time. And if you put your focus on one particular one of those buildings, that will be the one that materializes in front of you. But there will be the image of like two buildings. So things can seemingly exist in the same place at the same time, which is impossible in this world. But so this fourth dimension, what we call is the astral realm, and this is the very beginning of the heavenly, of the spirit world. It's not really the beginning of the heavenly world, because Master Okawa teaches in this world today, because this world's become very much focused on materialism, a lot of people don't believe in the soul. Now I imagine everybody in this room can believe in the spirit world because you've come to the Mind Body Spirit Expo. So it's unlikely that people in the room here don't have some degree of belief that we're more than just a physical being, and they believe that we're a soul. But as all of us know, that many of us have even friends and maybe even family members that don't believe in the spirit world. Many people in this world today believe that when you die it's all over, and I am just my body, because that's what I see and feel and identify with. So because the mind is so important, if people believe that they are nothing more than a physical body, when they die and they leave this world, they don't believe they're dead. Now this might sound really odd to imagine that people think they don't think they're dead. But Master Okawa said it's very frustrating for the angels and the spirits in the other world to try to convince people they're dead. Because someone will have a car accident, right, and now they're dead, and the shock of having the accident, they're maybe out of their body, and they're looking at their cars all beaten up, and they probably think, oh, that's lucky, I'm still alive. And then maybe a spirit comes to them and tells them, oh, actually, you're dead. What do you mean I'm dead, you idiot? Look, I'm alive, you know. And the person often becomes earthbound spirit, and they start living in this world very much the same way as they were before. And even though the spirit might try to tell them, no, you've actually passed away, you need to come with me, we need to return back to the other world, the soul says, no, I love this, this is my place, you're not tricking me, this is where I'm staying. And many of the when people see ghosts in this world, what they're often seeing is earthbound spirits. And but if people have an understanding of the truth about who they really are, it's easy for them to accept that when a spirit comes to them, oh, you passed away, you've died. Oh, I knew I lived. I knew I had a soul. So this is my real self. Oh, this is great. And then this spirit might say, okay, come with me. Let's go back to the heavenly world. And then they're happy to go. Well, actually, Master Okawa did say that in general, it takes us about, we don't usually return straight away. When a person passes away, it will usually take around about 3 weeks for a person to feel comfortable that they're ready to leave this world and return back to the other world. So we will all go to our funerals, right? So when we die and we have the funeral, and even when we go to other people's funeral, know they're there. Know that the person whose funeral you're at is actually there watching their own funeral. And they get a lot of joy from the sense of feeling so special on that day and feeling the love from all the people. And a lot of people, they never said nice things about the people when they're alive, but at the funeral, so many people say nice things about the person. And can you imagine sitting in and people don't even know you're there and they can't see you and you're watching them all and they're crying and they're all talking about all these wonderful words of how much they love the person. And it's a really uplifting experience for the person leaving this world. So people do go to their own funerals. But usually after about 3 weeks, and Master Okawa said a maximum is 49 days before people need to return back to the other world. Except some people have strong attachments and tend to stay in this world and become earthbound spirits. But, that's something that we try to help through the teachings of Happy Science, because it's really through people. If people in this world learn the truth about the other world and they study it themselves, people who are close to them, who might be family members who died, became earthbound spirits, they'll be hovering around them and hanging around them and often trying to prove that their existence is that they're still there. And so they'll do things like try to move things or do things, and they can actually bother people and become quite bothersome in people's lives just in there trying to prove that they still exist. So we can help these people, and the way that we help them is we learn the truth ourselves, and our thoughts, see, in the other world, your thoughts are directly transmitted to each other. So our thoughts are transmitted to dead people. So like I was saying about the funeral, when a person's at a funeral, they can hear all the thoughts of all the people around them. So if a person's sitting in the audience, if any of you go to a funeral and you've got negative thinking about someone, try to cut it off, because they can hear your thoughts, right? So, but if we learn to study the truth and understand the truth really deeply, and we've got people that we know that have passed over, we can pass those thoughts on to them, and we can explain to them the truth about the other world and help them to have faith and the belief in the other world. So all of this is happening in this world, and this world is a training ground for the soul. We've come from the other world. The other world is a multi-dimensional structure, and that the different stages are based on our love or the level of our love, and that one of the things that determines, from the astral realm, I was talking about the fourth dimension, the astral realm, what determines moving into the next stage, the fifth dimension, is this understanding of the truth. So that's why I was talking about the importance of understanding or having knowledge of the soul or knowledge of the truth of the other world, because to move from the fourth dimension, which is a realm of just instinctual love, it's a realm of even animals and plants also have souls. Not just humans have souls. Every living thing has a soul. Has a spiritual body as well as a physical body. So even birds and plants and animals, everything also moves into the astral realm. So there's even some humans living in there, but it's just the instinctual love. So it's not a realm we should be aiming for. The realm beyond that is the fifth dimension, which is the realm of Master Okawa said fundamental love, or love that gives. So people in this fifth dimension, this is the beginning of heaven. People in the fifth dimension have an awareness that they are a spiritual being. So when they die, it's easy for them to enter into the fifth dimension. And the realm of fundamental love just means that people genuinely care about each other. Right? In Happy Science, we call it love that gives. Right? One of the big causes of the suffering in the world today is people think that love is something they need to receive from other people. So people actually think love is something that you get. So people do all sorts of things, trying to get people to praise them and love them and do things for them, and they want to give love, but they want people to love them back. And people are very careful about not giving too much love, and trying to actually, subconsciously we tend to make sure that we're getting more love than we're giving, because it's almost like you lose out if you give more than you get. What Master Okawa teaches is, absolutely, we have to change this way of thinking. The universe is full of love. To feel love, all you do is give love. The moment that you feel love for someone else, and feeling love is just actually a feeling of warmth towards another person, hoping they are happy. Feeling happy when another person smiles. Feeling happy when another person becomes happy. I mean, if we start to feel happy when we see another person happy, obviously the next step is we just want to make other people happy, right? Because if another person's happiness becomes my happiness, all I have to do is concentrate on trying to bring other people happiness, and I feel happy. So we're caught up in this world at the moment. It's maybe because the materialism and the wealth becomes so much part of this world. It's pretty obvious with money that if I give you $20, right, you've got $20 more than you had, and I've got $20 less than I had. So in our world of give and take, and I give you something indefinitely, I've just now got less than what I had. Money's the opposite. Love is the opposite to that, though, in that the more love you give, the more love you have. The moment you give love, you receive love. So we are like a great conduit of love. When we think, oh, I can't give you love, you don't deserve my love, so I'm not going to love you, the only person that's losing out is us. Because it's like we turn our tap off, and we can't experience the love. So one of the things in Happy Science aims to do is to try to teach people how to practice giving love without having any expectations, how to feel joy from giving love. Okay, so this fifth dimension is the realm of spiritual love, of just a fundamental love of learning to give love without expecting anything back. And the next stage beyond this is a nurturing love. This is, we call the sixth dimension, but the nurturing love, see, it's okay to feel warmth towards somebody, right? So, I care, I love all of you, in that I just hope you're happy, right? I do. I just hope all of you are happy, I hope you have good lives, and I hope good things happen to you, and I hope nothing bad happens to you, even though we all know something bad always happens in life. But I just want you all to be happy. Well, that's just a normal, fundamental love. But nurturing love means that beyond just wanting people to be happy, I want to do something to help you be happy, right? Nurturing, like when you nurture a plant, you don't just look at it and think, oh, that's a beautiful plant, I hope you grow happily and I hope you have wonderful flowers. You go, what can I do to this plant to help it be happy and help it grow? Oh, right amount of water, right amount of nutrients, right amount of sunlight. Oh, too much sunlight, it withers. Not enough sunlight, it also withers. Too much water, it'll die. Too much fertilizer, it'll die. You need a wisdom to be able to nurture, right? So the nurturing love of the sixth dimension requires wisdom and also an understanding of right and wrong and good and evil. So this is another stage of the soul's development, a stage where you yourself study and make effort to learn something to nurture other people. So Master Okawa said, in the heavenly world, in the sixth dimension, you'll find a lot of people like artists and poets and even politicians and managers, but people who somehow refined it's a real strong intellectual level. People have used their intellect to study and learn things to be able to benefit other people. And then beyond that, the seventh dimension, Master Okawa said, is a realm of what we call altruism, or forgiving love. And this is the realm of the angels. So the realm of the seventh dimension is where not only have you got something to give other people, but you start to be able to forgive everybody for everything, right? Because you recognize that everybody in the world is actually here just to train their soul. And that what you're looking at people is not really them. The true self isn't that body. The true self isn't that physical body, but it's a divine nature. So what we started to see the difference between a true self and a false self, right? All of us have this false self, which we've created since the moment we were born, and we start to associate ourselves with this body and this being. It's not really us. So by the time a person's reached the seventh dimension, the realm of altruism, they just want to live their lives to help other people bring out their divine nature. So they recognize everybody, no matter how sinful a person might live their life, that's not really them. A sinful person, even a murderer, is actually just living that way because they think that this was the right way for them. They think that this is what they needed to do to live their life. And it's a matter of fully comprehending that that's not the true person. The real person is the divine nature that they have. And everybody has this divine nature. But some people have discovered it and are exhibiting it. Other people, it's still caught up inside them. They haven't discovered it yet and they're living a false self, right? But the people of the seventh dimension really can see that divine nature and love everyone for their divine nature. So they practice absolute forgiveness. It's the realm of the angels. They love everybody because of their divine nature and see through the false nature. The eighth dimensional realm is a realm of an indiscriminate type love. And Master Okawa said, look, people such as reached really high spirits, such as people like President Lincoln, people like Gandhi, people like this who come to the world to change the world in some way. From the heavenly world, they see things in this world that aren't right, and they're born with a great mission, and we can usually look back and see these people by great feats that they do in this world. And it's not always, it's not one particular type of people. There's musicians that can be like that, or there can be inventors like Edison could be like that. These souls who really reached a high stage, and in the heavenly world, they come to this world to do something to improve this world and try and guide it towards an ideal world. And the final final realm of human consciousness is the ninth dimension, which Master Okawa talks about as the love of the Saviour. So it's the realm of God's love, and these beings incarnate periodically to create new religions. I know people in the world today don't like religion, they don't like the word religion, but essentially religion in its purest form is something really wonderful. The purpose of religion is to bring God's word to earth, is to lead human beings in the right direction. Most people in the world hate the word religion now because religion's not being religion. Religion isn't fulfilling its purpose, and religion has become something that's aimed to control people. But that's not the true purpose of religion. So, religion in its true sense should be something really splendid. So anyway, these are all the dimensions, and the structure of the spirit world is a bit of a pyramid because you've got very few at the very top. There's great beings such as Jesus and Moses and Buddha and Confucius, and all the way down in the next level there's people like, there's Lincoln and Edison and Gandhi, and then the next level around to the angels, people like Mother Teresa, and then we carry on down. So, there's more at the bottom than there are at the top. But every one of us has the opportunity to become one of these great beings. Actually, every one of us must eventually become one of these great beings, so long as we keep making effort in that right direction, So today's talk is about guardian spirits, right? Well, our guardian spirit knows what we came here to do. Our guardian spirit knows what was the purpose of our life. Because as I said before, all of us were born from the other world into this world, right? And it wasn't a meaningless reincarnation. We came with a twofold purpose. One was to refine and develop ourselves, somehow improve ourselves, somehow take ourselves from where we are now closer towards this ultimate consciousness, closer to God or Buddha. That's the one part of our mission. The second part is that we need to somehow contribute to the world. So, and actually the two are connected. Master Okawa had a beautiful statement. He said, benefiting oneself benefits others. Right? And I thought, if you really just take that at face value, benefiting oneself is benefiting others, you think, oh, how can that always be true? What if I buy myself a Ferrari? That's not benefiting anybody else. But maybe I'm not really benefiting myself just buying a Ferrari. It's something that's passing. It might be fun to have, but it's not truly benefiting myself. To truly benefit myself means I discover my divine nature, and I bring my divine nature out. When I truly benefit myself, it means I'm refining myself and improving myself, right? And when I do that, I contribute to the world. So benefiting oneself benefits others. So this is our twofold purpose, working on ourselves and at the same time doing something to help others in the world. So our guardian spirit, from Master Okawa's teaching, to understand the guardian spirit is actually part of ourself. Okay, this will be a little bit of a technical explanation, and maybe no one's ever heard anything like this before, but Master Okawa teaches that our soul itself, or our spirit itself, it's a bit like a hand. Okay, my hand, I could say this is one hand, right? This is one hand. Well, this would be like one spirit. This is it. But this one hand is made up of 5 fingers and a palm. So even though this is one, it's also got individual facets to it. Master Okawa said our spirit is the same. Our spirit is like made up of 6 brother and sister souls. Some people might have all male, some people might have all female, and some people might have a mixture of male and female souls in their spirit. But this thumb, for instance, which has a personality, each one of my fingers look quite different. They look quite distinct, right? Well, this thumb itself has a certain personality that it's built up over many, many incarnations. But it's very similar to thinking to the rest of my brother and sister souls that are part of my spirit. So my thumb, when it's time, it breaks off and it comes down and is born in a body. Now, Master Okawa says the soul enters the mother's womb at around about 10 weeks. So a person is pregnant for around about 10 weeks before the soul actually enters the womb. So at that stage, and Master Okawa said from the heavenly world, it's a very scary moment for the soul. The soul actually, it feels like you're jumping from an elevator, jumping down. And, there's well wishes, oh, good luck, oh, wish you all the best, we'll be looking after you, and you get a lot of support before you take the jump into this world. And it's very scary because imagine you're now going to spend around about 8 months inside a dark place where you've gone from the complete freedom of the spirit world, where you are free to fly around and do whatever you want. Suddenly you're confined into this place inside a body, and it's very difficult. But we spend 8 months or so, and then we're eventually born. But this spirit, or this soul, which is part of the spirit, comes down. Well, Master Okawa said that in the past, actually, usually the next soul in line to be born on earth will come and work as the guardian spirit. So this guardian spirit, that's why it's actually part of you, because it's part of this one spirit, and it tries to guide you. And actually, Master Okawa said today's world's become so complicated that often your guardian spirit is the soul that had the life just before you. So life's become so complicated now, it's a little bit difficult for the soul that lived maybe, quite a few hundred years ago to come and work as your guardian spirit, because things are moving so quickly in this world. It's very hard to give advice to your soul. So your guardian spirit often these days is the soul that was, or the person, your soul that had the life before rather than the life that's coming. But anyway, the mission or purpose of this guardian spirit is to give you guidance, right? Is to support you and try and send you inspiration and keep you on the right path. Now, I had an experience the other night, and it was, maybe this was so that I could have something to say today about times when your guardian spirit really helps you. It was about 3 days ago, and I was leaving our place. We've got a little temple just down the road here, and Kyo was in the car with me, and it was a really wet day, a wet night. Can you imagine that in Auckland at the moment? We had rain, unbelievable, right? And it had been raining really heavily, and we got in the car, and I just drove down the Queen Mary Ave, and I got to the end, there's a stop sign, and the windows are a bit wet, and it's a little bit misted up, and I stopped at the stop sign. And I tend to drive fairly quickly, and I don't like to muck around on the road. So I stopped at the stop sign. I looked left and nothing coming, and I looked right and nothing coming. And normally I would just go, but something said to me something's not right. Wait. And I stopped, and I'm thinking, and I was peering out through the window. I said, why have I got this feeling? Stop! Don't go. And next thing, vroom, this big four-wheel drive went past without any lights on. If I had have just done what I'd normally do, which would be just go through that stop sign, because I've looked, nothing coming, no, go. The timing would have been perfect. It just crashed straight into the side of the car. But just when I'm thinking, oh, something doesn't feel right, I should have another look. And then while I'm trying to have a look, this car just goes straight past, And I was like, absolutely, I think, thank you so much. So these are the times that we can receive protection, because things do happen in this world that we call accidents, People, we obviously there's karma and destiny and things like that, but there are also times accidents happen. Things happen that weren't planned to happen, So your life can be taken before it was planned, So if you've got your guardian spirit helping you and looking out for you, and if you're tuned into your guardian spirit, then you can hear them and they can help you. So this really brings me to the main part of today's talk, and that is, how can you receive inspiration from your guardian spirit? How can you communicate with your guardian spirit? Well, the answer is by being on the same wavelength as your guardian spirit. Okay, so our guardian spirit has got a heavenly state of mind. Our guardian spirit came from the heavenly world, which is where we came from. Okay, we've entered into this physical body, and while as I said before, we have a true self and a false self. When we get too much caught up in our false self, we are worried about things of this world, and our mind becomes busy, and we have worries and concerns, and our vibration goes down. But the heavenly state of mind is a high vibration. It's a happy vibration. It's full of good thoughts and loving thoughts. So if we want to be able to be hearing inspiration from our guardian spirit, we ourselves need to tune ourselves into our guardian spirit. It's a little bit like a radio. Radios have AM and FM, and it's not impossible for an AM radio to pick up an FM station. It's on a different frequency. And it's the same thing. For us to be able to hear the thoughts and guidance from our guardian spirit, we ourselves need to be able to tune ourselves into our guardian spirit, because they sure as heck aren't going to want to bring their wavelength down to ours, right? If we're full of anger and frustration, it's like our guardian spirit really wants to bring their level of thinking down to ours of anger and frustration and negativity. So the way we do this in Happy Science is, first of all, we practice a lot of self-reflection and meditation. Actually, there are really three key points. Self-reflection, meditation, and prayer are the three things that we can do to make sure that our lives are living regularly in a way that we can stay connected to our guardian spirit. Now, the self-reflection, this is being able to, we often will practice this based on the Buddhist teaching of right seeing, right thought, and right speech. But if we reflect on ourselves, and this is something Master Okawa said, that the best way for the soul to improve is through self-reflection, because if we are willing to sit down and honestly think about ourselves and look at ourselves honestly and think about what we said and what we did and whether this is the right way and whether this would be in accordance, and like Master said, imagine that God and angels are watching you and live in accordance with the way that God and angels could celebrate your life. If we can self-reflect on ourselves and make sure that we're living that way, that's the first stage. The meditation, after we've practiced self-reflection, is to be able to then let all those thoughts, those busy thoughts of the day, calm down and get out of this thinking up here and bring it down into a place inside here. And a really nice way to do this is do a visualization whereby you imagine that you're maybe up on a hill and you walk down through a path, and at the bottom of the path there's a lake. And when you see the lake, look at this lake and watch the lake and just see this lake with all these big waves on it. And what the big waves are like is like your mind under a busy state with all the thoughts. And then just imagine this waves calming down and watch these waves all start to just calmer and calmer and calmer until aim to look at a lake that's perfectly smooth, like a piece of glass. And when you can get your mind to become smooth like that, then you should be able to sit at a place of silence. And in a place of silence, this is when your guardian spirit can start to communicate with you. And you can start to receive inspiration from your guardian spirit, and your guardian spirit will also help you receive light from the heavenly world. Now, we practice meditation at Happy Sides every Saturday, so anybody's welcome to come along and join us, and we can teach this more thoroughly. Okay, so we have a proper guided meditation that lasts for 30 minutes that takes through different stages, aiming to bring to the very last stage, which is where we can start to receive guidance from our guardian spirits. And we also, have here these prayer books which have a prayer to guardian and guiding spirits, because your guardian spirit actually, for many people, you think, oh, my guardian spirit's always going to be with me looking after me. But actually, say you're at work, right, and you're just typing away on the computer or you're punching on a calculator, your guardian spirit's not going to be there hanging around you all the time. If you're a guardian spirit, would you really want to be sitting over somebody watching them punch in numbers in a calculator, or typing on the computer? It's so boring, right? Your guardian spirit isn't always there watching over you. Your guardian spirit sometimes will disappear and go and do things in the heavenly world, right? But just like your parents, right? If you're with your parents and you're playing in the playground and everything's fine, but then something suddenly happens and you need your parents and you call out, Mom, Dad, they come running, right? Well, the same thing with your guardian spirit. Through praying to your guardian spirit, when you've got something important coming up in your life, maybe you've got a job interviews, or you've got some important seminar, or you've got something important that you really want some help with, if you pray to your guardian and guiding spirit and really tell them deeply about your wishes, they can help you, right? But when we're just going about our day-to-day business, they're not generally there. They are off doing something else. But as we learn to be able to keep our minds perfectly calm, right? Like I was saying, practice meditation and live more life in here, in a calm state of mind rather than with a busy state of mind. The more they have, that means that any time, as I was talking about this accident the other day, any time that they witness that there's about to be a problem, they can actually speak to you, right? But if you're driving down the road and all you're worried about is some problem that you've got going on in your life and it's really occupying your thoughts, they can't send you any inspiration whatsoever, right? So it is a matter of learning to live with a beautiful, calm mind and going through life with this calm mind, and then you can receive the constant inspiration from your guardian and guiding spirits. Well, actually, I just mentioned guiding spirits as well, and to finish up today, I'll just mention what the difference between a guardian spirit and a guiding spirit is, because guardian spirit, as I said before, is part of yourself. Like the hand here has got yourself, and your self comes down, lives your life on earth. Your guardian spirit comes and protects you and looks after you while you're on this earth. Then when you pass away, you return back and you share your knowledge and experience in this life with your whole group of your guardian brother and sister souls. And then the next one will be born, and the next one works as the guardian spirit. So we all ourselves will also have a chance to be guardian spirits at some time. Can you imagine what it's like to be someone's guardian spirit, right? Imagine it. They're living on earth. They can't see you. There's a lot of people who don't even believe in other life, don't believe in guardian spirits. So they never say thank you, right? You never get any gratitude saying thank you very much for looking after me every day. But their thoughts always are just with you and looking after you. Right? So we're all going to get the opportunity to do that, right? We're going to get the chance to practice, and you could say that this is true love. This is true love because you get no thanks, they don't even recognize you're there, and yet you're constantly wishing their happiness and trying to do things to bring happiness to them. But this was the guardian spirit. The guiding spirit, on the other hand, is higher spirits. I mentioned before about the structure of the spirit world and having many different stages. Right? Well, guiding spirits are spirits from the higher dimensions. So if in your life that you decide that you really want to partake on doing something that will benefit many people in the world. So if you decide that you really want to do something to bring happiness to a lot of people in this world, that mindset is the same as the high spirits, right? The high spirits just want to create a utopian world here, which is actually part of our mission, as I said before, develop ourselves while at the same time build an ideal world in this earth. This is our job as souls. Our job in the soul is develop ourselves while building an ideal world. So the high spirits have exactly the same mindset. So if you determine in your life, I'm going to bring a happiness to many people in this world, your guardian spirit will also start communicating with guiding spirits, and guiding spirits will come from the higher realms to give your guardian spirit advice that your guardian spirit can pass to you. So you can start to receive help from the very high spirits in heaven as well. I mean, if you're just living a life where you're happy to live your life and you just, I just want an easy life, I don't want too many troubles, I just want to get through life, and that's okay, I just don't want to have too many problems. If you want to live like that, that's fine, but the guiding spirits, the high spirits, it's not something that they'll get involved with, because they've got bigger ideas and bigger plans. So if you really want to attract the help of guiding spirits, have high ideals. Right? Have a high ideal in your life. And when you have a high ideal in your life, it actually gives you a great sense of direction and a great sense of happiness. Because I've got to say, one of the things that really helped me in Happy Science was I always felt I was pretty happy before I found Happy Science. I was always a happy person, My rugby coach used to call me Smiley, and I did. I always lived positively and happily and thought, I'll just get through, everything's fine, I'll be happy. But when I discovered the teachings of Happy Science, and it woke me up to this meaning and purpose of life as working to develop myself, but also doing what I can to help others, it gave me a great ideal to actually be able to leave this world and look back on my life and say, I really did something, I really was able to try to help other people and contribute. And I think through that, it brings me a greater sense of happiness rather than a sense of boredom. Sometimes I used to suffer from a bit of boredom. I used to think, hey, what's the point, But now I feel like there really is a good point and meaning to earth. And there's no, if we can work to develop ourselves while work to try to improve the lives of other people, then our life has meaning. And when we get back to the other world, we'll reflect and say, hey, that's really good. I'm glad that I believed and I had faith and I did what I could. But the bottom line is, to communicate with your guardian spirit, you need to be able to get on the same wavelength as them, right? And to do that, it's a matter of taking a mind that's full of busy thoughts and being able to take it down till you can reach a heavenly state of mind yourself, right? And the way to get that heavenly state of mind is to discover your divine nature and discard your false self or false nature. So your true self and your false self, that true self is the self that's full of calmness, it's full of courage, it's full of love, it's full of wisdom, it's full of compassion, it thinks about other people, it's got a lot of tolerance. This divine nature, all of us have it. And the false self is the self that wants to protect itself, and it's willing to do anything to protect itself, and it will take from others because it wants to look after itself. It wants to make sure that I'm okay, right? But this false self, it's never ever content. It will never have enough. No matter how much it gets, no matter how much love or praise or it gets, it's never enough. So we need to discard that false self, discover this true self, and live with a life full of a mind full of serenity. And when we do that, it's really easy to connect with our guardian spirit because we're on the same wavelength as our guardian spirit. So, I know you come here and you go to psychics and they'll give you some advice, and I'm not knocking that, that's all good as well. But you don't actually, sorry psychics, but you don't need that. You can do that yourself, to tell you the truth. You can get the best advice ever from your own guardian spirit, because no one knows you better than yourself, right? When you reflect on yourself and you think deeply about yourself and think deeply about your life and how you're living and what you need to be doing to improve your life, you're the one with the answers actually, and often those answers are coming from your guardian spirit. And the more deeply and more honest you're willing to get with yourself, the more answers that you'll get, right? So you don't need to go to someone else to get you the answers. Sorry about the psychics, but this is the truth. You yourself can receive the answers through your own guardian spirit, and they're the best answers that you'll ever receive. But well, thank you all for coming, but anybody got any questions on today?
I just want to say thank you.
No worries.
I know compassion, courage, and wisdom.
Yeah.
You have to have this all the time in your daily life. Keep on moving no matter what, and believe in yourself.
Yes.
That,
Yep.
you are the source of your own happiness.
Yep. Compassion, wisdom, and courage, right? Yeah, very nice. Yeah, that's true. They're part of our true self. Compassion, wisdom, and courage. Definitely. Yeah. And there's no limit to those. I mean, we're connected at our very core to eternal God, a primordial God, or Buddha, whatever you want to call it. It's the same thing. Yeah.
You create your own happiness.
Exactly. You create your own happiness or unhappiness, right? That's it. If your mind's full of happy thoughts, you're happy. If your mind's full of unhappy thoughts, you're unhappy, right? No one put those thoughts in there but you. You decided to have same people in a different two people in the same conditions. One could be happy and one could be unhappy. And the only difference is the way that those two people looked at things. And one of the great teachings in Happy Science is creating this foundation of a way of thinking that enables people to be happy under any condition. And that is the idea that this world is a training ground for your soul, and that everything that happens for you is food for your soul. See, if we just believe that this world is a place where we come and we try to live an easy life and we don't know about the training of the soul, then when bad things happen or tough things happen, we go, oh, why did that have to happen to me? It's not fair. Why do I have to go through that, right? And then we suffer. But if we can believe, like it's taught in Happy Science, that, oh, this means that my soul needs to experience this, to learn something, to grow. Oh, thank you very much for sending me this wonderful lesson. We can be happy in that condition, in that environment, and that's what we want to teach everyone all around the world. Yeah.
It says enjoy what to enjoy, suffer to suffer, because at the end of the day it's nothing.
Yeah, exactly. Just, I think acceptance is a good word too. Acceptance. And yeah, we can try to make things perfect, and we do our best, but we have to accept the result, right? With a bright mind and a happy attitude. Yeah. Any questions? No. That's good. No questions means everything was answered, right? Yeah. Thanks all for coming. Thank you very much.